1959 when the revolution triumphed, 56% of the people in Nicaragua didn't know to read and write. And we had this big literacy crusade that took alphabet, that got from 56 to 11% of illiteracy. I mean, 11% of people that don't know to read and write is still a big part of the people, but for us was a great thing, a big thing, you know. A lot of young people leaving the commodity of their homes to go in the rural area to teach people to read and write. Even some of us that went, we didn't even realize exactly what we was doing. We just wanted to do good because that was part of it, solidarity. If we're talking about solidarity, well then share some of what you learn with people that don't know to read and write. So thousands of people went to teach to read and write, and that was good. But in the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua, just going to teach people to read and write wasn't enough for us. We had to do a literacy crusade in the languages of the people from the Caribbean coast. So we had, apart from the general alphabetization, we had the crusade in Spanish, in English, Creole, and in Miskito. And well, we are proud of what we did, and we got a recognition from the UNESCO. Nadaska Kuskeya is a recognition from the UNESCO for bringing illiteracy from 56% to 11%. And the Sandinista Revolution also initiated on the Caribbean coast a process of rights restitution, basically for indigenous and Afro-descendant people. We began to work on our autonomy process, and we got our autonomy law approved in 1987. Autonomy maybe means something for some people in a country, and in a different country might mean something else. We define our autonomy as the recognition and effective exercise of the historical rights of the people from the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua in the context of national unity and the constitutional principle. We didn't look autonomy of the Caribbean coast to separate from the rest of the country. Our autonomy was to build national unity, but a very genuine national unity. We call it unity in diversity. We say we're going to build unity in Nicaragua, but we're going to build it on the basis of recognizing first the diversity of our people. We recognize that we are different, that we have Miskito, that we have Sumo, that we have Rama, Garifuna, Creoles, and Mestizo. And once we recognize that diversity, then on the basis of that recognition, we're going to build national unity. And when we were able to, the conditions was created, and we got back our internal self-determination, our autonomy. At least we got it on paper. We got theoretically, we got it on paper. We had a hard time, and we're still struggling to get the full exercise of autonomy. We have made some important advance in this. And maybe I have to skip so much thing that sometimes I feel like I saying something without giving the antecedent, but I just will mention that the Constitution of Nicaragua, what we had, used to establish Nicaragua as a mono-ethnic country, a country with one language. Constitution used to say Nicaragua is a mestizo country. The official language is Spanish. You know, in Nicaragua, diversity was seen like an obstacle. Hey, you can't get development if you have people talking Mixquito, people talking English, people talking Spanish. It's not possible. So diversity was seen as an obstacle. And you know, I don't like to talk about myself, but I will tell you that I went to study in Managua at the university in 1972. In the 70s, was very, very, very few people from the Caribbean coast that had the opportunity. It was seen practically like a privilege to go to Managua to study. We didn't have university and that other half of Nicaragua, Caribbean coast. So everybody aspired to be able to come to study to Managua, but it was practically impossible. We didn't have any road to get us to Managua. It was very expensive, etc. So in 1972, two people from Bluefields, two of us, were able to come and study to the university in Managua. The other guy was Felix Coe and myself. And when we had free times, for example, we will talk in our language. We talk in Creole English we call it. And some of the guys, these poor schoolmates, would come and say, hey, you all can't be talking that thing here. You can't talk that here. You have to talk Spanish. And you know, I would say, no, I have rights, and I am a Nicaraguan, and I have my rights. I could talk my language. And one day, one of my friend, my schoolmate from Hinotega, which I like him a lot because he helped to open my eyes. I have to mention that I like him a lot because it might sound like I don't like him, because he came and told me, he gave me a copy of the Constitution, of the Nicaragua Constitution. And he told me, Johnny, if you can show me in this Constitution where it says that you have right to talk that language, to talk that thing, or if you can show me in this Constitution where it says that you are a Nicaraguan, I will give you 1,000 cordobas. 1,000 cordobas in 1979 was like plenty money for a student. I made a list of all what I was going to buy. I was going to buy new sneakers, new different things, you know. And I took the Constitution and I went and I began to read it, Constitution of Nicaragua. And I read from A till Z. And I was frightened when I realized that I wasn't in the Constitution. The Constitution don't mention me at all. But I thought maybe I read it too fast. So I read it again. Yeah. I read the Constitution. The first time I had the Constitution in my hand, I read it 3 times. I woke up in the morning with a light reading the Constitution because I couldn't believe it. I studied all my life in school. I was a good enough student. And I didn't know that I'm not in the Constitution. And I cried. I don't like to talk about this, you know. I don't like to mention that I cried because I was educated in a school where only boys study and where they teach us that men don't cry, you know. So but it hurt me so much that I cried. Well, I cried because I see that I wasn't going to get the 1,000 cordobas. And I was going to be able to buy the things that I already thought was mine. Yeah. But I cried because I found out that I wasn't in the Constitution. In Spanish there is a phrase that says, no hay mal que dure 100 años ni cuerpo que lo resista. So in the same 70s, in 1979, the revolution, Sandinista revolution triumphed. And apart from everything else, we got our autonomy approved, and a lot of the laws in Nicaragua changed. The autonomy began to change things. A lot of things changed. One of the important things that changed, and which is the thing that I love the most of the Nicaragua Constitution, is Article number 8 in the principle. The Constitution of Nicaragua said Nicaragua is a multi-ethnic country. That's what it said today. Nicaragua is a multi-ethnic country. It said the official language is Spanish, but the languages that the people talk on the Caribbean coast are official language in the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. And for some people, having their language as official language not signify much, but for us it mean a whole lot. You know, for us, your language, the language is the soul of your identity. Is the thing that you can't see, but is the thing that make you who you are. Part of it, part of who you are. So we had the recognition of the people of the Caribbean coast as Nicaragua. I look back for my friend 15 years after. 1972 is when we studied, and 1987 is when the new constitution and the autonomy law was approved. And I went to him, Augusto Lopez, and I told him that I put my 1,000 Cordova. And if I want my 1,000 Cordova, I said, sit here, I come now to show you. Yeah. And he said, yes, you are right, but you wasn't right then. And so I appreciate him, my friend Augusto Lopez. But apart from recognizing that Nicaragua is a multi-ethnic country, we got approved other recognition, the recognition to elect, the right to elect our own authorities. And even that, for some people take that for granted. You see, we used to, I didn't mention this in our, I didn't mention much about our history, but and the Caribbean coast became part of Nicaragua in 1894. And what the Nicaraguan government used to do is impose authority. They used to name governors. And those governors used to treat me real bad. And with the autonomy law, we earned the right to elect our own authority. So we started electing, and sometimes we didn't used to elect the best, you know? Yes. But even if we elect bad, we had the right to elect our own authorities, and this was a great thing. It is a great thing. I think we elect better now. We learn, yes. And we had the right to work out a proposal to get back all the land that used to be ours. We used to own the lands as communal ownership. The entire Caribbean coast of Nicaragua is about 60,000 square kilometers. We didn't get back the whole 60,000 square kilometers. We got approximately 37,000 square kilometers demarcated and titled and give back to the community as communal land. That's a historical problem that we had, that we just put this through. We completed the demarcation and titling in the year 2016. But this doesn't mean that we have solved all the land problem. We still have a problem, but when we have the title and we have the ownership, and we decide about those land. I mentioned this already, but in 1894, when we passed to be Nicaraguan, before that we used to have education. The little education that we had used to be in our own language, especially in English. But after 1894, it was prohibited to use any other language in school except Spanish. Spanish was imposed as the official language of the country and the language that you have to teach in school. So with autonomy, we get back that possibility, that opportunity, but not just get it back like that, but with the language then declared as official language of the country. And we got the right to establish our own educational system. We have a system that we call Regional Autonomical Educational System, CR. It is bilingual, bicultural education. We need to strengthen it, but where we have it is a system of education. It's not just translation, it's not just it's bilingual, bicultural. So you teach people about their history and about their culture. It's interesting. I would say we're still green. We need to work more to have it the way how we dream it to be. But the important thing is that we have it and that we can. Yeah, still have some time. And we have our autonomical health model. We have been able to create our own institutions, some institutions, and the possibility of deciding about the natural resources in the Caribbean coast and how to benefit from them. With autonomy, even the sounds began to change on the Caribbean coast. When I was growing up in Bluefields and the Caribbean coast, one of the most popular songs, the Tatos, we used to listen to, or we used to hear on the radio, is a song saying, "Brown skin gal, stay home and mind baby. Brown skin gal, stay home and mind baby. I'm going away on a sailing boat, and if I don't come back, throw away that damn baby." I mean, it was a thing that used to be putting in our mind, even with the song. Our people work on boats, go on the tour, and the cruise ships and things. And the songs used to say, "Well, I'm going to look a job, and if I don't come back, well, you see what you do with the baby." With autonomy, at the triumph of the revolution, with autonomy, all those songs change. I'm just telling you one of the songs, that the same songs we sing. Pretty black girl, let's build a free country. Pretty black girl, let's build a free country. A place where you and her little baby can live and love and dance in this our free country. You see, it's the same song, but a different message. So, the revolution triumphed in Nicaragua, but the revolution couldn't apply the same way on the Caribbean coast. So our revolution is autonomy. Autonomy is what is the instrument to make the changes on the Caribbean coast and create the possibility for us to be, yes, Nicaraguan, but not second class or third class Nicaraguan, but to create the condition where we could participate on equal basis with the rest of the Nicaraguan people in building a new Nicaragua. So that is what autonomy meant for us. Some people thought that autonomy would be an automatical thing, that as you get the law approved, everything would come to pass. But is a process, and in the middle of that, in the early 80s, we began to face some serious problem because the United States government considered that Nicaragua and the Caribbean coast were a threat to the United States, and they began to finance a war against us. I think you all have heard a lot about how that war was, even things that was done, and today it's clear we used to talk about it, but you know, the United States government, you all hear about Iran Contras? You know, in that time, Iran and Iraq was at war, and United States was supporting Iraq, but they sell arms to Iran, and the need to use the money to finance the war. So they put them two people to fight, Iran and Iraq. They're supporting the two of them, supporting Iraq openly and selling arms to Iran, and using the money from the sale of the arms to finance the war to destroy our revolution. Yeah. I think that I don't have to say too much about that, because probably most of you all heard about all these things, and we went to the International Court of Justice against the United States, and we won. We won the case against the strongest power on earth, and the International Case of Justice ordered that the United States stop the war and they should indemnify us, pay us for the destruction. And we estimated $17 billion, $17 billion. But they didn't pay us. They didn't pay us any mind, or they didn't pay the International Court of Justice any mind. I mean, I don't know if you all know about this then, but when we really won this case in the International Court of Justice, and the United States didn't pay the Court of Justice any mind. And when with all those problems and difficulty, the Sandinistas lose the election in 1990, and the new president that came to Nicaragua said that she was going to condone a pardon the United States for what they did and forget about the bill. Yeah, one person practically taking the decision. So these neoliberal parties was in government for 3 periods. We had our autonomy law in our hand, but we had very hard time in getting the effective exercise of what was recognized for us. We weren't able to negotiate with the government how we're going to implement that law. We wanted to build a development strategy, or develop a strategy of how to convert those rights and recognition into practical action, and we weren't able to do it. The government said that autonomy, they made us know clearly that they didn't agree with it. Say, we don't know where that thing come from, that autonomy thing, that is a Sandinista thing, and we not going to support it, but they couldn't, how you say, eliminate it because it was strong in the constitution, and you needed like practically 2/3 of the parliament to be able to change the law. So we were able to preserve the law even if we couldn't implement it. And till the year 2007, the Sandinistas that approved the autonomy law went back into office, voted into office, and the first thing that we did in 2007 was to write up a strategy, a human development strategy for the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. Very simple strategy, I'm not going to get in it, but to convert autonomy into reality. And the first thing in that strategy was to work on the thing of getting back as much as possible of the land. So 37,000 square kilometers is like 30% of Nicaragua is communal. And well, that strategy is not a perfect strategy, but we began to make concrete advance on the Caribbean coast. Caribbean coast began to change. We began to feel better. Things never get perfect, but we could see clearly that we was on the right track. The Sandinista wasn't in government on the Caribbean coast even after 2007. The same people that was in government from 1990 remain in government on the Caribbean coast. But even so, we had a strategy, we had something important. We know where we're coming from, and we could see where we're going. And we could see if we're moving fast or if we're moving slow. We was moving fast, but we was moving. And in the context of the whole country, we had a development at a sustained rhythm, 5% of growth yearly from 2007, practically. We define our development strategy having in mind the model of solidarity as a development where no one stay behind. No one stay behind. I think we have it clear in our mind that we don't want a development on the Caribbean coast where some people get rich and strong, or one ethnic group gets strong and the Mosquitoes stay behind, or the Rama stay behind, or the Creole. We talk about a development where no one stay behind. We're talking about development with gender equity, ethnical equity, equidad de género, equidad étnica, women and men participating in that development. So we were advancing, I say, with autonomy, with a model of dialogue, alliance, consensus. We began to get some development in what is material things also, like carrying electrical energy to the different communities. But what we talk on the Caribbean coast and in the rest of the country, and I know that some people might not accept this, but we say that the only way to have a real development and to advance is if we could work together. It don't mean that you have to think the same, you know. I still talking about unity in diversity. You can have different ideas about them, but we can't try to disappear each other or to expel you the country. And I think you read a lot about this whole situation. Then we went to a second, a formal stage of dialogue where the hierarchy of the Catholic Church was going to be the mediators, the one that can try to make help that a real dialogue could happen. But those people from the hierarchy, you see I said the hierarchy, it's not all the Catholic Church. Sometimes people say the Catholic Church. Well, those people wasn't acting like mediators. They was pushing the court and trying to get Sandinista out, and not only out of government, you know, I mean out the country. Yeah. And that dialogue didn't had any fruit. And now we are in a third dialogue that I am very, very optimistic. I am not just optimistic, I am convinced that we're going to have some good result from this dialogue. Right now the dialogue is like basically the government with the private sector, as we call it. But definitely you can't reach to a final thing, just the government with the private sector. You can fix some things, but you need the representation of most of the people to be in dialogue. The Catholic Church is still there, but not as mediator. They are witness. And who is the witness is the representative of the Pope. And well, people in Nicaragua think that he is trying to do his job, to do the job as best as possible. Some people don't believe that the Catholic Church would try to bring peace. Some people have it against the Catholic Church. Well, I am prepared to have it against no one and to reconcile with everyone and look for national unity. We are trying to build a team. One lesson that we learn from this is that we have to try to not just have a model of dialogue and alliance and consensus, but to build from in the school, with the children, a culture of peace and reconciliation. Cultura de paz y reconciliación. In this dialogue, the there is this representative of the Pope, and there is a representative from the OAS. And they have reached to several agreements. In this whole coke business, there was like 198 people that lose their life with name and title, clearly identified. Sometimes when you hear one side of the story, it sounds like if the government went and killed 198 people, but you know, just to give you an idea, well, 22 of those people is police, just to give you an idea. Sandinistas, teachers, union members, and there was 290 approximately people that went to prison. Yes, that went to prison because they killed, they burned, they destroyed, they did things that some people know about. But in these agreements that they already have, one is to free the people that are in prison. As I said, the what I think going to happen in maybe before this week finished, today is Friday. I was going to discuss this today. I don't know if it happened, but today, Friday, 12th of April, that the political parties could be part of the dialogue. You know, you're discussing things that have to do with the Constitution. You want to change some rules. You want to change some rules in the electoral law. You want to change some laws in the country. And it's very difficult to just sit with the sector privado, with the concept, with the businessman to agree those things. There is a lot of consensus about them having the political parties participating in this dialogue. And well, that's where we are right now. There is a lot more I would like to say, but I realize I am totally conscious that I passed the time. But I wanted to tell you that much, at least, about Nicaragua. I try my best to summarize, and I want to learn something about you, about Wales, about what's happening here, and I am open. Anything you want to tell me or ask me, if I can't answer, I will say I don't know the answer, but I would like to get to know what I want to hear, what it is you would like to know. After 1894, when we passed to be Nicaraguan, we passed some very difficult times. That's the time of the imposition, when everything was imposed on us. They imposed a language, and when all our rights was taken away, you know, we became, they didn't kill us. It wasn't a physical extermination, it was cultural extermination. We got invisibilized. The territory with its resources was incorporated to Nicaragua, so the Caribbean coast became part of Nicaragua, but the people wasn't taken into consideration. We said the Caribbean coast, those fishes, those shrimp, those lobster, that gold, that forest, that's from Nicaragua, that's part of Nicaragua. But the people, we don't know. Yeah, the people, we wasn't in the Constitution, I say that. So you could imagine a people without your language, without identity there. A people without any territory, because all the land that we used to own was declared as national land, state owned. No language, no territory, no history, because everything about us was wiped out of the books. It's not wiped out of the books, it's just that they bring new books. New books with a little of Nicaragua history, but absolutely nothing about the history of the Caribbean coast. So we was there. Nobody didn't kill us. We was there, but como ciudadanos de segunda categoría, second class citizen, no have no decision, can't elect your authorities, you're nothing. So even when you might not see what autonomy meant for us, it's a real revolution. It changed our life. And it's not that everything is perfect or anything like that, but that strategy that we have, our idea is to convert the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua into the paradise that it had to be. We say, God, give us a paradise. And we need to do our part to convert it into a real paradise. You know the song, what I mentioned? I gave you one verse, but you know, one next verse said, pretty black girl, let's build a free country. Black skin girl, let's build a free country. A place where yellow, brown and black and white can live and love and dance in this our free country. That is our autonomy. That is our aspiration, our well-being. In Spanish we call it buen vivir. El buen vivir for us is a place where yellow, brown and black and white can live and love, you see? Can live and love and dance in a free country where we could decide about our lives. We don't want to decide next people's life, but we want to have the opportunity to define what is good for us. And that is what autonomy gives us. And there is, if I didn't come here to say that, well, we have it made and that we have gone a long way and there is a lot more to be done. And what make us, give us esperanza, hope, and is we know we're going to convert all these things into reality. We have a strategy. We say we have natural resources. We are preparing human resources. We have a strategy. We have autonomy to convert that strategy into reality. We have a model of love and solidarity. And with the help of God, ¿sí? Con la ayuda de Dios. First, you know, nearly everybody in Nicaragua is Christian. Not Catholic or Anglican or Baptist or anything, but we are Christian. And not everybody go to church. Not everybody go to church, but we believe in that principle of love your neighbors as yourself. So one of the programs of that strategy is convivencia comunitaria. Convivencia comunitaria. We have to find a way, and that is what we are always searching for. How, what it is we need to do for Miskito, Sumo, Rama, Garifuna, Creoles, and Mestizo to be able to live together, respecting each other. We call it interculturalidad, interculturality. That's what we teach in school. Our educational system is based on interculturality. We have made mistakes. We could continue making mistakes, but we think we know what we want, and we trying to work as much as possible together with unity in diversity. And if we fight with someone, we are willing to look for reconciliation. And the last question is...
Can I just,
yes.
as for a book recommendation, that there is a short book on the table there, A Special Place in History, which is a very short history of the Caribbean coast, the Atlantic coast of Nicaragua.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think in the back it's got some references to the literature. And I'm sure either Ben or myself or Johnny afterwards can give you some additional recommendations.
Much
Sorry.
appreciated. Thank you both.
That book is written by a lady from Southampton. Jane Freeland, yes. I asked for her yesterday, and I saw a copy of the book yesterday by Helen. It's not so easy to find books, because all the books, what used to talk about us was disappear. But yes, in United States also, there is a Moravian community called Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. In Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, they have a library where you can find like the history of the Caribbean coast, like day by day, everything, everybody, who born, who died, who christened, who came, because the Moravian used to make practically a daily report when they came, but they came in 1849. They write something about the past, but they wrote exactly every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you, when I got in there, I didn't know where to start from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get wild. You find so much thing about the Caribbean coast, and I got into history when I read one sign that say, in Spanish it said, la incomprensión del presente nace del desconocimiento del pasado. So if you don't know your past, you can't understand your present. So when we started this movement to get autonomy, I had 20-something years when we start formally. And there was a group of people, like 30 people used to meet every day to do brainstorming. After the triumph of the revolution, they used to do brainstorming. And most of them was men like my father and my grandparents' age. And I used to go to the meetings and I used to write. So when, in 1984, when we formally organized the Autonomy Commission, those men, basically men, some women not that much, those men said that I was going to be the coordinator of the Autonomy Commission. That was a terrible thing, a terrible thing, because how I going to be the coordinator of this Autonomy Commission? It was like they was putting a big shirt on me. Yeah. But those men, those people told me, don't be afraid, John. We know you can do it, and we're going to always be beside you and behind you. And anytime we have to go and talk, we will help you, and we will correct you, and we will teach you. And I had to go all about to talk about autonomy. All about. I came to Wales to talk about autonomy, to Scotland, to Ireland. I went to the United States Congress to talk about autonomy, invited by Kennedy. You know, when it reached a time when I could talk about autonomy even if I was sleeping, even if I was asleep. And I like to mention this when I talking to young people, because you know, you don't have to be afraid. Yeah. You just got to put your heart into it. Yes, and we got the autonomy law approved. And I like to talk about it.